Hey Pisces, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to another Astro Reels. It's my pleasure to read for you. You guys know how it is. These messages are timeless and signless, and really, that means that you don't have to have any specific Piscean placements in your natal chart for these messages to be for you. If you just happen to be watching and you're like, oh, that sounds legit, then chances are there are messages for you. Of course, you're also an adult, so please do use your discernment. If these messages do not vibe with you or resonate with you, that simply could mean that you are not yet seeing or perceiving the messages. So I would say to take a step back, wait a few days or a few hours or whenever you get the tap on the shoulder to check back and see if you recognize the messages then, once they've had a chance to solidify in your physical reality a little bit more, okay? Of course, use your discernment. And if you'd like to have a personal reading with me, you know exactly where to find me. All of my information is on the page that you're viewing. Just click the link for Etsy, and yeah, I'll be there. Alrighty, let's jump in. So Pisces, what's going on? I'm pulling this card here, but I'm seeing, I don't know what this is, but let's see. I'm suddenly getting a bubblegum slash convenience shop, like shop is what I'm getting. Kind of energy here. So that may be a message to somebody, one of you viewers, to say that it's for you. Let me go ahead. As I'm gently putting on my glasses here, because I'm actually standing way higher than this table. This table comes up to like a little bit above the knees, don't ask. And I'm standing, like, what's going on? But anyway, I do want to let you know that as I'm looking down here, at this, it's so interesting because as you know, once I turn on the camera, the messages are all channeled. So even me just talking about being way above here and this table actually being around my knees, I just got an intuitive hit that I'm supposed to tell you guys about some type of creative works that are, maybe some of you are making some type of creative work. Could be that you're writing a book, you could be that you are writing down stories or whatnot, and I think they wanted to communicate to me that this message doesn't relate to me, because you know me, I'm always working on some creative project, but this doesn't relate to me in particular, even though a lot of the messages that they bring through do. But it does mean that it relates for somebody out here, and they're saying that when you are composing something, in fact, as I look down here, it's scribe, literally writing. If there's something that somebody's composing or writing, they're saying to make sure that it draws upon real experiences. So this is a bit of a nod to maybe somebody here may be writing or a memoir or trying to capture some type of reality that they've experienced or something, but they may not be realizing, but it's getting a little bit on the side of being loosely based, all the way to the point of it just not being real. Now, you know, spirit can always use what people make in order to, you know, teach others. We can all, you know, God can always use even examples of what not to do to kind of help each other, help us, right? But notice I said help each other because we all are actually God. We just haven't realized it yet. But anyway, so when we're channeling this message, these messages, I'm noticing these teachings kind of flowing in, kind of like just slipping in there for us. But I just wanted to point that one out. But anyway, I want you to know that if that's you want to be a little bit mindful, because even though God can use us or people in the environment to teach things not to do, right? Thereby showing that all things can be turned into a lesson by the Holy Spirit. This is not a religious reference, by the way. Always remember, the Holy Spirit is not referring to anything religious. It's referring to an energy that was created by God to do what? Bridge the gap between that high frequency where God slash source slash creator slash ultimate exists and us down here. We can't even begin to be way up there. So there's a little bit of a go between, and that is what the Holy Spirit is. And so that's what I'm saying here. But Spirit is saying that when we are, even though they can use anything, it still runs the risk, you know, to teach, it still runs the risk of you, they're saying losing yourself. So remember, so it's in my mind, I'm thinking, is this also a commentary on AI, artificial intelligence, right? That's the big thing right now, and everyone's going to have their own idea about it based on wherever they are in their level of perception, what's going on in their soul curriculum, what's going on in their past life, energies, what's in their cellular memory, just what circles they run in. So really, everybody's just going to see things differently. I know how I feel about it at this time, remaining ideologically flexible. I prefer to be a little bit more on the do it myself as much as I can side, fully understanding that we also do use calculators, for example. So no one's out here doing like all sorts of major what's the word, equations in our minds, right? We're using calculators, so that shows that to some extent we are employing machinery and whatnot. But when we come to artificial intelligence, it is, many people will see it as a life form, a consciousness, if you will, and others will say no, it's not. But either way, I did what I feel is most appropriate, and that is to always check in with myself, because love you all, but yeah. I'm trying to be on that, inner authority kind of thing, and I suggested you do too. So you can take into consideration what others are doing and saying, and what experts and what cousins, mothers saying, but it's always best to use yourself as the inner authority. In fact, if I were you, I would run it through myself first, then remaining ideologically flexible, open it up to seeing how other people are weighing in. That's the best anybody can do. I don't care how many letters you have after your name. The best you can do is weigh in on something. And then after that, you bring it back to yourself and make a decision, conscious mind decision, about how you're going to be moving forward with respect to that specific belief. Because truth be told, you're always making decisions. It's just that most of your decisions are not conscious mind based. They're just running off of programming. 1 and 1 is 2, 2 and 2 is 4, 4 and 4 is 8, and through manufactured consent and all sorts of stuff, and boom, you're just moving on autopilot at this point. And what a lot of people don't realize is when you get to the other side, a lot of these things we just see as duh, it's logical, it's common sense, or we learned this. No, those were choices you were making, and you were aware that they were choices. You chose to just adopt them without what due diligence. And so that's part of the waking up process. And a lot of times we think that things are not choices, and then we get to the other side and they totally are, and then we're like, we didn't know, and then they run it back because they got the receipts, the golden receipts. And they will show you, and then even you will be like, oh yeah, okay, I guess. I mean, we can go to a friendly local therapist and they can run it back for us, and we're like, oh okay, yeah, I guess I did know that, and I see how I chose to avoid it. Yeah, so what are they doing on the other side to track this, right? So whoever you guys are, sorry, this is coming out all mishmashed and stuff, but it's just the way the energy is flowing through me at this moment to give you this information. But I'll do my best to sum it up. Whatever you're working on, I would say be mindful that you're keeping yourself in there, and not just outsourcing everything, not just loosely basing it, not watering it down to make it amenable or digestible to who? Mainstream thinkers. Like, no, this is not the channel for that, if that's what you're trying to be about, because that's what you're trying to leave behind. And the way you do that is getting back to yourself, remembering that you're the frequency holder. You are. So if you start outsourcing too much, what are you doing? You're leaving yourself out of the equation, and that's why they said don't lose yourself in it. I am working on some stuff for you guys. I just, it's just not going to be ready until later this year, which I knew, because I have so many 3D things to work on for myself right now. But I remember I was asking the guides in terms of visuals. I was like, I want them to see this thing I'm trying to describe. And I know that it could be easy to just run it through AI or whatever. But I'm just not feeling it personally. So then I just asked them, because I was curious. I was like, what do you guys think about this? Is it, and this is not saying that other people in all industries, including this, can't do that. You're a completely different essence. You have your own soul curriculum, you have your own soul contracts, you do what works for you. So what I was asking is, what works best with my energy field, my creativity, what I'm supposed to be doing for my soul contract, and that what I'm supposed to be doing is between me and my higher self, by the way. What are the energies of the people who hold soul contracts with me to work with? What's best in that realm? There's no way you can make comparisons between me and other people because there are too many different variables. And that's the same thing with you and other people. We shouldn't be out here comparing because you may look the same to a 3D mind, but the minute your friendly local healer, hi, / energy reader looks into your energy field, we're seeing two different beings altogether here, right? And so I asked, and what they said resonated with what I was feeling, that no, it's not necessary for me and my work. And truth be told, listen, I've got Cap South Node. I'm trying to control. I'm sorry, that sounds bad. But I don't want to release too much control with the stuff that I'm doing right now. That's why I do everything on my own and at this time, because energetically speaking, when you do bring too many other people into the project, especially prematurely and especially just haphazardly, you run the risk of changing the vibrational frequency. And while that can be okay for some parts of whatever it is that you're working on, whoever this message is for, 11 minutes 11 seconds as I look down, whoever this is for, you have to be mindful that when it comes to building a foundation, okay? Foundation. What are you putting in? What are you putting in? Whose energies are you putting into the cement? So that's a very strong message coming for somebody. And I was starting to wonder, I'm like, am I rambling? And that's when I looked down and I saw, oh, okay, it's 11 minutes, 11 seconds. The guides are like, hello. Look at this, 2 creation cards. 2 creation cards here. What I'm noticing here is they're also looking at the stages of creation here for whoever you are. Because here we've got this guy actually fashioning what he's dreamed up somewhere else. We see the dreams here. We see the blueprint, so to speak. And here he is fashioning it underneath the moon. So this is giving the energy, the message that's coming through here is to remember that even though we have ideas on the other side of how we want certain things to look while we're down here, how we want it to take shape, how we want it to be effected. That starts with an E, effected. A little bit, things are kind of off the table once we're down here, because guess what? We're also susceptible to the energetic pea soup that is down here. So here he is working under the moon. The moon is going to be affecting him. The moon here representing fears, all sorts of stuff. I'm also seeing intruders, representing intruders is what I'm hearing, and that is referring to the entity attachments that are hanging around, the constant in the non-physical that, attached to you and stuff. And I'm seeing some just talking in ears, right? They literally talk in ears. Listen, how many students have I had where I've asked the question, what would your superpower be? And this is before I got into this field here with healing and stuff, got into it in the sense of helping others, but I was working on myself all the time. And I can't name how many people were like, how many guys were like, I want to be invisible. And I don't even want to take that discussion like why further, right? Because the answer is who knows. But think about it this way. It's the same for a lot of disembodied spirits. When they cannot be perceived by us in the physical, by a lot of people in the physical, they're trying to run it on us. So be mindful. These energies feed off of your low frequencies. So if you find yourself in a low state of mind right now, a lot of grief energies, a lot of stress, a lot of animosity, anger, listen, they're chirping in those ears a lot of times. So be mindful. And this is why it's important is as much as you can to try to capture in your now moment and your now moment and your now moment, the only moment there is, the ability, if you can muster it, but the ability to keep your mood high. It may be difficult, but listen, it's worth it, right? Because you don't want to be a snack. You are a whole snack. We love it, but not to lower frequency beings that will sup and attach, literally. So they're saying here that when it comes to us actually producing things, whether it's a written work, some type of artistic blah blah blah, it comes from you already having had a mindset about it before. And when you sit down to try to create it, you've got all sorts of stuff. You've got your fears, you've got your grief, you've got entity attachments, a lot of distractions coming left and right. YouTube, sorry, it is a big distraction sometimes, but I can't help it. But Be mindful. So that's the message coming through for creators today, okay? Mwah.